I've been in the online space since 2015, and I have been on Instagram since 2015. That is almost a decade, and let me tell you, the times have changed. So these are the 5 things that I would do if I was entering the realm of Instagram as an online health and fitness coach today. Hello friends, and welcome back to an episode of Annie Off the Cuff. This is unscripted, it is edited, but this is just my thoughts off the top of my head. Take it or leave it. I am a strength and conditioning specialist and also a business mentor to online health and fitness professionals. So today's video is all about what I would do on Instagram today if I was starting from scratch as an online health and fitness professional. Number 1 is I would not follow any colleagues. I would limit it. I know that if you are in the world of health and fitness, you probably want to follow some of these people. You enjoy following their content. I would maybe look to follow mentors versus colleagues. When we follow colleagues, there's potential for way too much noise in our area of expertise or in the area that we would like to focus on. And if you are new to the online space of health and fitness, you are likely still discovering who you are, what you stand for, what your methodology is, which we will get to. So it can just be really helpful to limit that noise by not following people who may be colleagues. And of course, over time, this may happen, but if you unfollow them, that can also be helpful, or muting them. I have a video on when I unfollowed 400 people and muted all of my colleagues and what happened. So be sure to check that out after this video. The next thing that I would do is actually something that I did back in the day in 2015 because it's coming back around. It was for a different purpose then, but it is posting multiple times per day. So way back when in the dinosaur era, maybe you were on Instagram then too, you posted multiple times a day because the feed was chronological. Bless. So you wanted to be at the top of people's feeds, and it was basically just a competition of whoever was posting more, you were going to see more of. Saying this makes me so sad for present day reflecting on this. Instagram is still great. I think you should be there. It's still my favorite app. It's still where I suggest people in the health and fitness industry go. When you post multiple times a day, 1, you're consuming less. The more you're posting, hopefully the less you're consuming, because you're not only having to post that content, but you've got to create it. So we want to always be spending more time creating than consuming. Also, that consumption can just create noise again in your mind when you should be focusing on your creative process, finding your voice, and also getting that feedback. So that's the other benefit of posting multiple times per day, even in present day, even in 2024, is that when every piece of content you post is a metric back. You get feedback, right? What's working, what's not working is one thing about a topic working, but did another medium of content perform really well? How can you mesh those two together? Just my thoughts. I know that not everybody can post multiple times per day, but I also think, and I've mentioned this in podcast episodes and things of that sort, that my business clients, whenever they post twice per day or multiple times, 3 times per day for 2 weeks or something like that, because it's not always sustainable. It's a sprint. They do it. They get a bunch of followers. It's fantastic. When you do that, you tend to be less caught up in the metrics, if that makes sense. So every post is just, you're just putting it out and you're just getting feedback. There's not as much weight applied to each post that you put out to perform well, right? And when you put out a bunch of posts, then one is likely gonna take off, and that's just our favorite. So I do suggest high frequency posting. You're going to learn your message. You're gonna learn how to create better your whole creative process, from what order you do things in, what programs you use, and just what type of content you enjoy making and your audience enjoys consuming. Next up, it is 2024. If you are not using ManyChat, then you're me like a month ago. I was late to the party. A good friend of mine, after I posted comment free BBA or comment BBA for a free week of Built by Annie, I had over 200 comments, and I individually DM'd every person a copy and paste message because I'm a fucking dinosaur. And I didn't know about ManyChat. So I was doing the right thing, but the wrong way, without the system. It is such a blessing that ManyChat exists. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. You can basically automate responses via DM. So you just pick a word that someone needs to comment or respond to your story with. It can happen in both of those ways, from stories and from posts. And then you choose, an automated message that sends to them. You can include their first name with a little tag thing, like email marketing, and the link. And then you send the link wherever. You can also create automations even more than that. So based on something else they say, you can just create webs of conversations. And from a business standpoint, this is a freaking game changer. A game changer. I so wish I would have had mini chat when I started. So look it up if you're not using it, and make it essentially part of your onboarding. So you can make it part of your onboarding for an opt-in, for a freebie, for a newsletter, for a podcast. If you're starting out, you probably don't have multiple forms of media, but regardless, you can send them anywhere. So the goal is to keep them on the app, but get them to sign up for something off the app, and ManyChat is the third party that is making that happen. So we love it. I highly suggest it. And that also can create just conversation in the DMs with prospective clients. And if you are just starting out, you want that. The more touch points you can get, the more conversations you can get with potential clients on the app is awesome. That's a huge win. I love that that resource exists, and I want especially new coaches to be using it so that you can grow with it versus being me and having tens of thousands of followers and setting up these systems now. Count your blessings. We have two more. Second to last is to define your method. You might not know this yet, but I mean your actual coaching method. So if you are in the online health and fitness space, you likely are working with one-on-one clients in some capacity, or you're coming from an in-person practice of some kind. If you can document your process that you take every client through, and then start pulling out common themes that you see, or every step that you take with every client, really define your method, and then be able to create content from that. So I'm very big on creating content directly from your offers because we are on social media as a personal brand and business. The more that we can plug that into our content and be selling without selling, that is the golden ticket, in my opinion. I love that. It isn't direct sales, but you are more so constantly selling, and that is my favorite thing to do. That is what I suggest doing if you are what the fuck is my method? I'm not saying you have to come up with a name to the method, but you likely do have a system even if you haven't identified it yet with your clients. So just be on the lookout for that, and be attempting to kind of discover your own method and be able to then communicate that. Once we have clarity on our method, we can communicate that to our prospective clients that are on Instagram. The last one is something that I did not start doing early enough. I built my one-on-one roster from Instagram, period. It was from referrals and Instagram in the online space. And I did it by client case studies. So when I was just programming for a client, or we had just, worked on a movement pattern, or somebody just hit a PR without pain, then I would get on Instagram literally as I was working, and it was just a part of my job. I would just talk my audience through what the client's issue or goal or result was, and the process by which I got that client to that point, or my plan for the client if it was an issue that we were addressing together. So that is largely how I built my one-on-one roster. Client case studies in my stories. ManyChat would have changed that, because you used to not be able to direct sell from posts, and now you can with ManyChat, because if they are commenting, then you can directly send them a link to apply, get something for free, register for a webinar, yada, yada, yada. So I would use results-based marketing. I am still working on this. I am with you in the trenches of using results-based marketing. Didn't do it early enough, still don't do it enough now. It is so easy to do, and it's just not, I go towards education. It's very natural for me to educate and share the process. And I am also a buyer who wants to know the process. If you're trying to sell me a result and you're like, get X in X days, I'm like, bitch, how? How? Prove it. I think that's just a me. It's me, I'm the problem. I'm the problem, it's me. So Identify the result that you give clients, and don't think that that's just a physical result or a number-based result. It doesn't have to be a tangible result. It can be a subjective result. In Built by Annie, yes, people improve their mobility, gain strength, improve their work capacity, but also the sell of Built by Annie is to enjoy your lifts again without having to figure it out for yourself. That is the sell. That is a subjective emotional result. So I should be creating content that basically reiterates that message over and over and over again. Point of view posts. Finally started doing training that felt familiar to me, and I'm enjoying my lifts again. Finally enjoying my lifts again after using weightlifting that doesn't completely thrash my body. Like, that is the type of content that I should be creating a lot more of. Results-based marketing, just pounding into your content the result that your client wants and reminding them of that over and over and over again. And then, of course, you can go in the caption and talk about the how, talk about what's realistic. Those are my 5 things. Those are my 5 things I would focus on Instagram if I was starting a health and fitness account online today in 2024. Do you agree with these? Do you disagree with these? Are you doing any of these? Do you have questions about any of these? I am happy to keep the conversation going down in the comments. And if you guys like this, I drop a video every Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoy these educated gains, and I'll see you in the next one.